What's going on, Vape fam? This is Joe of all vapes, of course, coming at you with another awesome review. I am feeling extremely chilled out today, you know what I mean? It was the end of a long Monday, and all I want to do is sit and hang out with my favorite vape and pretty much just play video games all night long, you know what I'm saying? But duty calls, time stops for no man, you know what I'm saying? So, number one, before I get to the review, I want to touch base on HR 2058. Of course, that's the big FDA screw that has pretty much pissed everybody in the vaping community off everywhere. I'm not going to get too big into the details, but what I do know is that for people like you and I, it definitely sets some stipulations on how we enjoy our vaping from this point on. The culture is a massive, massive culture and is an even bigger industry. So there's a few things that we have to remember here. Number one, pretty much the only reason that the government is intervening is for money. Something that makes, multi-billions of dollars every year throughout the entire nation, and not even counting the type of international, stimulation that vaping really infuses our culture with, is something to be not ignored. So keep in mind that, the federal government is looking at this like, okay, so here's a massive, massive industry that is threatening us because, it's not padding our pockets with our due share. And honestly, without picking a political affiliation on one side or the other, that's immediately what it comes down to. It's absolutely no joke. I'm no lover of cigarettes, but I am a lover of individual freedoms and personal rights. And that is something that you can't take lightly, which is why everybody is advocating massively against 2058. Now, the one thing that I have come to figure out or find out recently was that CASA, as well as pretty much every other association and organization that is pro advocacy for vaping, has come together in a massive, massive coalition of interests that are basically compiling all of our voice into one massive voice in order to lobby Congress so that we can get together and basically make the right decisions from this point on, tackle all the issues, and make sure that everything is done professionally, legitimately, and basically just so that the feds can hear what we're saying, can see what we're doing, and that it's more than just some massive recreational accumulation of individuals vaping a bunch of cheap juice on the side. And within this industry, we are doing a massive amount of good for people that are kicking off the sticks. And, especially for the veterans, man. The veterans are, just a very special set of individuals that really, once they get back from, a lot of their tours, they immediately, I know a lot of veterans. My guy Jamal over at the Pie Guys E-Juice, he's a vet himself, and he was telling me just the huge number of vets that immediately go to the cancer sticks just to give themselves a little bit of relief and, just a chill factor. But it's a massive, massive issue to deal with that we're trying to cover and just get the FDA to listen to what it is that we're trying to do here. So it is not the end of the world. So these are the things that we have to basically to look forward to. And there's a lot of hype out on the internet right now. Basically things like this. Obviously, this is something that the federal government is looking to say, no more, right? What it's going to boil down to is, trying to keep in perspective everything that is actually going to happen and everything that the internet is, massively pushing social media saying that's going to happen. Like cotton balls are now considered, a tobacco products, and it's not that massive. Okay, so we're talking about products that are specifically designed for vaping. Those are the things that are going to be tackled. So kind of like zigzag cigarette wrappers. Back when I was a kid, those used to be sold pretty much everywhere in grocery stores. Now you literally have to be 18 to buy, Bic lighters and certain AMPMs. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit silly. But now that the regulations have kind of gotten totally out of hand, specific products for the vaping community and the vaping culture, as far as industry standards are concerned, are going to be regulated to the point where you have to be 21 and older to buy them. So what is this going to do for the manufacturing industry? It is probably going to slow it down a little bit. Things need to massively, massively be redesignated, redesigned, and restructured. This is probably going to put some people out of work. This is probably going to piss even more people off, and this is going to take a lot of that revenue out from the 18 to 21 crowd, which is a massive, massive crowd, because there is a certain amount of stigma with some of the younger folks, but there's a larger amount of communicable stigma from people between the ages of 21 to 40, like myself. So, you know, companies are going to be looking at market share and realizing, okay, what are our, what are our main demographics here? But we can't ignore all these people that pretty much, rally together and, go and see us at vape competitions and stuff like that. So don't think for a second that this is over. So take a deep breath, take a really good vape, and just realize that with an industry this large that makes this much money, yeah, the government's going to want to regulate it so they get their piece of the pie, even if they deserve it or not, but it's not going to die. The more we fight, the more we keep what we're doing alive, and pull back from whatever all those the government bureaucrats want to keep us from doing and enjoying. They're looking at everything that we're doing as a pleasure, and which it is, but it's also a major, major advocacy point to keep people off of smoking, because it's more than just a smoking alternative. It is a healthier lifestyle comparatively to that. So, we just need to keep the fight up. We need to keep things in realization that just because the age requirements have changed, and massive, massive regulation on a lot of the companies are going to be implemented, there are definitely going to be huge changes in the market and in the vaping community. So does it suck? Absolutely. Is this going to be a massive setback? No doubt. You absolutely betcha. As companies will no longer be able to freely give out free samples at vaping expos, conventions, competitions, and companies are not, for the frivolous nature, being going to be able to just give out free samples to other companies for the purpose of distribution very easily. Of course, there's probably going to be ways to work around this stuff. Basically, what I'm saying is keep things in realization. We're okay right now, but we know what the immediate future is going to bring us. It's going to bring some hard times. This is the time where we need to rally together, most of all strongly, and make sure that you keep advocacy going. Don't just copy and repost some post, from somebody that's saying, join CASA or join, one of the other advocacy groups, and then call it good and say you did your part. Sign the petition, get a petition, and then literally do your best to bust ass and go out and find your other vaping buddies, other people in the community. Maybe even take a flyer, make your own homemade flyer or something. Take it down to your local vape shop and say, look, the URL that you need to go to in order to sign the petition. Pass this out to your friends and family. Make a stack of them. I mean, how much does something like that cost in time-wise comparatively to the entire picture? The federal government is used to people complying with all of their regulations and doing everything that they do. They want it to be more of a totalitarian kind of a situation, but you know what? We have our own voice, and we can fight for what we believe in. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but more than often, there's a midpoint right down the middle where, like it or not, we're going to have to compromise. But our compromise is going to be something that, now that the regulations are in effect and it is what it is, are going to have to be something that is going to settle both what they what they want and what we need to keep us alive and thriving and doing what we do. So once again, keep all that in mind. Just take a deep breath, relax, keep fighting the good fight, and enjoy a good vape. It's not going to go away. We're definitely not ever going to go away. There are going to be some changes, but it is what it is. Such is life, guys. So, keep that stuff in mind. Now that I've gotten through all that dirty business, let's get on to something just a little bit more fun and relaxing. So if you couldn't tell, the GQ is what it's about today. GQ Vape has some really, really sweet, awesome e-juice liquids out on the market, and I've been having this guy sit in my deck, getting happy, getting steeped for quite some time now, and finally ready to bust this out to you. So GQ Vape sent me this awesome, amazing collector's box. So help me, even when these bottles go empty, I'm probably just going to keep this and display it on my shelf. Probably buy more bottles from GQ, just in the 15 milliliters, to keep it in this awesome little box. And I'm thinking this display piece is probably something that they sell only if you buy every one of their 8 flavors, or they send to shops, or guys like me, because I'm blessed that way. What can I say? But we're going to open this bad boy up. First of all, I'm just going to kind of give you a little bit of a look. It's got all of their social media info right on the side. Premium samples from GQ, quality e-liquids. And this stuff is really, truly amazing stuff. And I'll get into the nitty-gritty of that a little bit later. At the front, they say Cali, Los Angeles brewed, enjoy. So I think that's what I'm going to do. We're going to open this up. It's got a little magnetic cover on it. Very chic, very GQ. Got stuff falling out here, man. Look at that. Okay, so this is their lineup of all 8 of their flavors. Pretty awesome stuff. Now, as soon as I opened up the lid, the smell was intoxicating. It's really, really tasty e-liquid. On the front of the cover, on the inside of the lid rather, it shows all 8 descriptions and the profiles of every one of their flavors that they have. And we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. I'm just going to take myself out of the shot there. Right, beautiful stuff, man. Let me tell you, when you open it up, you get some awesome little vape swag. Get some stickers going on here. Boom, GQ. And plenty of room on the vape wall, so that's where that's going. Then you get their custom juice menu, which if you flip this bad boy around, has another description of all 8 flavors on there, so you're pretty much set to go. And just to brag, since 2013. And no, I didn't Google Roman numerals. I actually had some book learning skills on that one. But anyways, we're going to go through this real brief with you, the flavor-wise, and then we're going to do each one by one. The first one here is Royal Flush in the box, and that's an exotic melon blend that has subtle but icy sweet flavor that really refreshes your taste buds. Second flavor is called Caviar, and I'm going to show you the bottle on that one. Now, each and every one of the bottles look pretty similar to this. Different colors, different artwork behind the logo, and the flavor on the side, of course. You got these little fat 15 milliliters that kind of make it look like a 30 milliliter. I love these little fat 15 millis. So every one of the flavors look just a little bit different as far as picture and color is concerned. So you still get a little bit of something different, which I really dig. I don't much care for a lot of the brands that do, you know, they might have really good flavors, but the logos and the labels are all the same, just like twins, just from one to the other. And it just, I don't know, I just like a little bit more flavor, you know what I'm saying? But the second flavor is called Caviar, and that is rounded with a gentle hint of sweetness and a Frappuccino base, topped off with hints of caramel and whipped cream. Unbelievable flavor on this one. Definitely my favorite out of the 8, which was hard for me to do because there's so many good flavors here. We'll get into the rest here. High Roller is the third, and that's an essential all-day vape with a refreshing taste similar to spending a summer day at the beach. The perfect pineapple blend. Good stuff. The fourth flavor is G6, and that is Embark on a zesty flavor bursting with sweet orange Tic Tac. Really tasty. Brings me back to my childhood. The fifth flavor is Eclipse. This uncomparable blend of kiwi berry and tropical fruits will make sure to help you in your journey of escaping reality, which it did. Sin City, reminiscent of those childhood memories with apple, watermelon, Jolly Rancher flavor. Who can go wrong with that one? You know what I'm saying? Pearl was probably my second favorite one, and that is the second to last. True passion and intoxicating, invigorating flavor with tantalizing e-juice blend of mango and hints of papaya and some other fruits. So kind of some mystery mix going on in there. I like the mystery mix because it gives my palate something to think about, a little bit of a challenge. And the last one is a breakfast favorite, Wake and Vape with the Breakfast of Champions. Plenty of breakfast flavors out there. We'll talk about that one when we get there. So we're going to start with the Royal Flush, and that is this badass little bottle. Love the little Royal Flush picture in the back. I'm terrible at poker, but luckily I can fake it, maybe with a little bit of Royal Flush from GQ. So anyways, the Royal Flush is the melon blend with icy sweet flavor. Now, what I love to do with every new e-juice that I taste is I give it a smell, I give it a little taste on my tongue, believe it or not, kind of swirl it around, let in a little air, you know, and just kind of get the vapors going naturally, you know what I mean? Then I vape it. And even when I get massive amounts of flavors like this, I'll bust out just a big fat wad of Kendo vape cotton, and I'm constantly re-wicking, throwing the wicking away, and just, you know, getting about a good 10 minutes for each one. And every one of these flavors really impressed me. And the reason is because they keep it pretty simple. Now, I've said this before about a lot of brands that have multiple flavors. sometimes you can kind of stray from the formula and go totally off track by trying to come up with massive amounts of different flavors and exotics and everything, just here to there, everything from Sunday. But Lily the vape cat, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, one of these days I'm gonna get a phone call from the ASPCA. I swear to God, I don't test these flavors on my cats. Moving on, like I said, the one thing that I like about a lot of these flavors, as opposed to companies that give out tons and tons of different flavor, with the exception of a few that I have reviewed and will review actually, is that they keep things pretty basic. So one of their flavors will just be a singular flavor, but will be a really high quality. And that's what pretty much breaks the mold for me. If the flavor is true to profile in Joe of all Vapes format, then I'm going to give it some praise. If you get it really, really massively exotic with flavors and fruits, and just really shoddy craftsmanship, I'm going to call you out on it every time, and I have before. But GQ has really put together some solid flavors, did their work, did their homework, and just made it really, really simple but really high quality. So the Royal Flush is a really, really decent and tasty melon blend. A little bit of a peppermint background, maybe just a dash of spearmint, but there's definitely a mint in there. So it keeps it really, really super light and refreshing while not being totally overbearing. So I'm thinking probably like a honeydew melon, maybe a little bit of cantaloupe in there. So I can't quite tell. Tertiary, maybe a binary vape, but definitely you're getting an influence of both flavors on the inhale and the exhale. So maybe not a traditional binary, because I think there's some other flavors in there anyways, but that was a really refreshing vape, really, really super pleasant for me to try. So we're going to go on to the Caviar, and this one is my ultimate favorite. This stuff is absolutely totally tubular. You know what I'm saying? This one is the caramel and whipped cream Frappuccino. And man, I'm telling you right now, Starbucks is going to be sending these guys a lawsuit with this flavor. If this stuff had caffeine in it, I would definitely be vaping this in the morning instead of drinking my coffee. But you know what? This actually is a really, really excellent pair with just a really light flavored donut or something breakfasty, maybe like a fresh scone or something in the morning with a little bit of coffee. Really, really tasty. I love pairing quality vapes, especially in the morning or at night, when I'm eating dinner. Certain vapes just taste a little bit better with certain foods that you eat, and this is definitely one of them. Ultimately creamy, massively high quality caramel flavor with a really, really good, deep, rich coffee taste. Nothing tastes artificial, nothing tastes crazy or out of the norm. Just a perfect, perfect blend of cappuccino, which is really deep and rich. The caramel tastes really sweet and buttery, while the whipped cream tastes really light and airy. So this was a really, really amazing flavor. If you guys like coffee vapes and have a hard time trying to find a really good one, absolutely, definitely recommend Caviar by GQ Vape. Try it out. I can guarantee you guys are going to love it. You're going to go nuts over it. The High Roller was the pineapple blend one, and that is a little quick shot of it right there. I don't know what's going on in the background, but it's all Jake to me, you know what I'm saying? This one was reminiscent of kind of like those white pineapple gummy bears that you get that most of the time people kind of separate out and give to their friends. Those are my bag, baby. I love those ones. My wife and my daughter give me those ones so I'm always buying them gummy bears because I know I'm going to end up with the white ones. But, that's one of my favorite all-day vapes, is just something very sweet and palate cleansing. It's a really, really good light vape, very tart, very tangy, but very sweet at the same time. Pretty much anything pineapple is right up my alley. So this one was really, really solid, very true to profile, very candy-ish, but very fun and sweet. So I got the most flavor out of these when I dripped them. You can try sub-ohming them, which I did too, but for me, dripping them brought out the majority of all the goodness out of these flavors. So the G6 is very simple. This one is sweet orange Tic Tac. Basically, like they took a little bit of vodka, threw some orange Tic Tacs in there, shook it up, and called it good. With the exception of a little bit of glycerin to make it do what it needs to do. But this one, 100% true to profile. You bust this baby open, give it a smell, and it just makes the corners of your mouth juice up. You know what I'm saying? Unbelievable stuff. It really, really is good. It's very, very tasty, but not too overly tangy. So this stuff isn't going to burn your tongue with the citrus. You know what I mean? So very, very fun vape, very candy-ish, happy stuff. The next one is the Eclipse, and this one is the kiwi berry and tropical fruit. I'm going to show you the bottle right there. That's pretty happy stuff. Looks like an eclipsed sun. I think they planned it that way. Maybe for marketing purposes. I don't know. Anyways, this one was very tropical while still making you sort of feel very grounded. You know, we can't always go where we want to go whenever we want to take a day trip vacation in the middle of a hard Monday. But the one thing that you can do is vape a really good vape that just brings you back to a happier place. Something a little bit more tiki, a little bit more tropical. And the Eclipse definitely did that for me. My heart, part of it at least, was left in Hawaii when I had to come back to the mainland, man. And there are subtle memories, fond, strong ones that I have that remind me back of that amazing island. And this literally actually happened to be one of those. The Eclipse was very, very light, very refreshing. I love tropical vapes, something fierce, because it's more exotic than the traditional just singular fruit flavor. Kind of brings you outside the box. It gives you something that you can really super enjoy, which I love on any given day. And, you know, with it being just a little bit of a berry infusion as well, like I say, it's making you kind of a little bit more familiar, so you're not totally outside the box, but just enough of something to know that you're not going to have to force vape it. You know what I mean? GQ, once again, has their stuff down. The Sin City, and this one, man, they got it down on this one. The little pictures of Vegas going on in the background. Really, really cool. I'm loving GQ here, man. The Sin City, once again, was the Apple Watermelon Jolly Rancher. So two of my absolute favorite Jolly Ranchers out of the bunch. Watermelon are my all-time favorite, and you know, I'm sure that's pretty much everybody's all-time favorite. But you mix those together with some good Apple Jolly Ranchers. No other flavor combines these two except for this one right here, man. And it brought you right back to, you know, a nickel and dime shop. I would take $1 when I was a kid and go down and buy 5-cent, those little flat sticks of Jolly Ranchers that you'd suck on and then save for like a week. I'd buy a ton of them for $1. Man, I would be in sugar heaven. Never had a cavity either. Go figure. I'm thinking that Jolly Rancher needs to give me some type of endorsement for that alone. But I digress. Really, really sweet flavor. Very, very true to profile. Once again, I mean, it's almost nothing more I need to say once I say true to profile on an individual flavor here. So, one of my favorite, the Pearl, and little pearls going on in the background, very flashy and bling bling. This one is a blend of mango and papaya with some other tropical fruits. Okay, so again, keeping everything nice and tropical and exotic. The fact that, you know, it just says other tropical fruits, I really dig that kind of stuff because it makes your palate kind of guess and check. This one tasted like a combination of basically every gummy bear thrown together in one big pot, melt it down, throw it together and spoon feed it to yourself in a vape. It's really, really good. It's almost kind of reminiscent of a lot of the fruity cereal vapes because there's so much fruit going on in there. You get to take your time picking apart individual flavors. You can taste the orange, you can taste the apple, a little bit of cherry, a little bit of strawberry, a little bit of watermelon, some lemon, some lime maybe, you know, if it's real super exotic. But this one kept it fairly basic. So, you know, I'm tasting apple, I'm tasting cherry, I'm tasting strawberry, a little bit of watermelon in there. You know, just kind of a normal blend of just a big bowl of fruit cocktail in the summertime, nice and fresh and cold and crunchy, you know what I'm saying? But you got a little bit of mango and papaya in there. I love mango. Mango is an amazing flavor. Papaya is kind of exotic, so you're taking tropical exotic and familiar and putting it in a big fat bowl and making it happy. I'm happy, you know what I'm saying? GQ has it going on with that. And last but not least, the Empire. And this one is totally tubular. This one's badass. I love the picture, I love the label, and I love the flavor. This one is sort of, you know, the unique thing about this is there's so many different kinds of cereal vapes out on the market, and you know, some that are kind of outside the box. So there's really only about 3 famous fruity cereals out on the market. You got your Fruit Loops, you got your Fruity Pebbles, and you got your Tricks. Now, I mean, a ton of people out there will pretty much say they all taste the same, just in different formations, you know what I mean? But to me, nah, I have more of a discerning palate for that, and especially for a company as high quality as GQ that takes the time to come out with really good flavors, so many of them true to profile. Out of 8, I had to be a little bit more discerning with my palate on this one. And, you know, I'll be honest with you. This one, Tricks. Straight up. No kidding, no doubt. out. And I know you're like, what the hell, Joe? Come on, seriously. I mean, they taste all the same. But you know what? If a company's going to go out of their way to make a really good vape, do them a favor and don't put them in the monotonous category of, man, this tastes like all the others. Do yourselves a favor. Be a little bit more discerning and, just kind of try and pick it apart a little bit. If anything, it's fun because nobody wants to think that they're buying bad e-juice. But you know what? GQ, from my personal experience, doesn't have that problem. They don't make bad e-juice. So I took the time, took a little taste, comparison, and then you know what? Swiped a little bit of my daughter's Tricks. Taste comparison is absolutely identical. And I am a Fruity Pebbles nut, okay? I grew up on that stuff, so definitely know the difference. Plus, I'm also not a massive cereal vape lover. So if you can come out with a really good cereal vape that is either true to profile, outside the box, and really, really awesome as far as the flavors are concerned and the quality of the mix, I'm going to dig into it every time, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to let go. This one was really good. Now, it's very familiar of a lot of the fruity citrus cereal vapes out on the market, but it's high quality. So you can come to expect that from GQ. GQ definitely makes really, really good stuff. So rounding it all up in a nice convenient little box. I do not know the retail price of this box, to be perfectly honest with you, but what I do know is that you can go on to gqvape.com and more than likely be able to purchase all 8 of these flavors. I don't know if you can buy it in this nifty, awesome little Joe of All Vapes quality and value box, but maybe you're going to have to get your own channel to do that. I don't know. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying GQ Vape, thank you very, very much for supporting Joe of All Vapes. These were amazing flavors. I had a lot of fun trying these, and man, I made a stack of notes going on. I do make notes, believe it or not. I write down different subtleties and flavor values. Let me tell you, I've gone through more spiral rings from mead than you can possibly imagine. There's another company that maybe should be giving me a little bit of love, you know what I mean? So go on to gqvape.com, check these guys out, buy some bottles for yourself. Of course, you can get them bigger than the 15 millis, and go on to Instagram and check out GQ_vape and follow these guys. Tell them that Joe of All Vape sent you, and check out all their massive amounts of pictures. They're a really, really high quality company. They've got a ton of followers, and I mean, they're up there. They're up there with the upper echelon. There are a few companies that have really gone out of their way to try and do as good as they possibly could for the vaping community by coming out with a quality product. These are the companies that, through all the FDA regulations and quirky stuff that's going on with us, are going to thrive because they can take the time and they have the professionalism and the quality behind what they do to make sure that they set a standard, and that standard needs to be upheld, and everybody needs to know about those high standards because this is what it's all about, guys. We need to put our roots into the ground and show that we can't be pushed around. This is a strong community, and we have to keep it that way. So, going to put a close to this long-winded conversation that we're having here. I really appreciate your guys' support. If you dig this review, please stay tuned. I've got tons and tons of stuff coming up. In spite of the federal regulations, don't worry about me. There will still be reviews constantly flowing. I have made sure of that. There's a lot of big things going on in the future, which I've said before, and those things are still in the making. So stay tuned. Have no fear. Joe of All Vapes is not going anywhere. You're not getting rid of me that easy yet. So spread the word here, Joe of All Vapes on YouTube. Check me out on Instagram, Joe of All Vapes _2. So I want everybody to have a good time. Love yourselves. Love each other. Sign those petitions. Keep the advocacy alive, folks. We've got a fight ahead of us, and we all need to stick together for that. So, number one thing to remember when times get tough, keep it cloudy.